CORSO and Catone. Podcast, Studio 42 Design, and CORSO Law Group. Now for the real deal New England feel, CORSO and Catone.
Welcome into CORSO and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm CORSO, he's Catone, Joe is in the booth, and you're watching us on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and wherever you podcast. And check us out on Twitter as well. Hey, Heated Hotline. Make sure you call 855-313-PATS. Give us a call 24/7. Leave a message. Anything's on the table. Please have a take. We're going to choose one. I want it to be yours. So 855-313-7287. Got a lot to get to today in Real Deal. My kingdom for some athletes. We will explain. Catone's comments, of course, you don't want to miss that. That's always a fan favorite. And we'll hear from one of you in Heated Hotline later on in the show. And in Weekly Rewind, we're going to talk Red Sox and the Celtics start their playoff run. Get to all of that. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Boo.
Fantastic.
Well, you listen, we got a holiday weekend coming up. We're recording on Thursday, airing 7 p.m. Eastern Saturday. Due to the holiday, Mark is waiting anxiously for the Easter Bunny. So we had to record today.
You pick on me for the Easter Bunny. I like to go on Easter egg hunt.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I mean, we got plans that for Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
Joe, what are you expecting from the Easter Bunny?
A whole lot of the same bullshit.
Okay, so what? It's a whole.
I want a wide receiver from the Easter Bunny.
We'll get that in a few. It's interesting. Speaking of Easter, so tomorrow is Good Friday, right? And it's also the home opener for the Red Sox. I think they open up at 3:00. So Good Friday tomorrow, as we know, that's the day Christ died, went on the cross, 1 to 3 o'clock. It's supposed to be a day of reverence and reflection and, basic quiet silence. And so the Catholic Church has come out and they're a little disappointed with the Red Sox, Mark. They basically said they're disappointed that they're having their opening day on Good Friday. And then when asked, they're not giving any special dispensation or forgiveness for anybody who decides in the stadium to have a Fenway Franks, some meat. So Catholics can't eat meat on Fridays during Lent and on Good Friday. So they're not going to give any forgiveness to anybody who's having the hot dogs, brisket, any of those things you like. So I thought, as a general PSA, we can help the people and give them some other options of what they can get in there, to spend $15 a pop on something. What do you think, Mark? What do they got?
They don't have a whole hell of a lot that doesn't revolve around meat. It's hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken fingers. I mean,
Well, they could have what? Popcorn, peanuts.
You could have popcorn, peanuts, a cold beverage.
They could have beer. I think they probably have wine now.
Yeah, they do. They
right?
wine. I think you could even get like those mixed drinks now. They got like the vodka and all that mixed together with fruit and all that stuff. They got those. What is that? The thing in the blue and yellow can. I don't know what the hell it's called.
They got ice cream.
Marco
goes to the alcohol, if you notice. I mean,
What the hell else is there?
Joe, come on, Joe. What else is there to do?
They got candy, cotton candy. They got those.
That'd be you, candy. This is from the kid who's laying on a chair at 2:00 in the morning with red hots all over his chest.
I had to go to the dentist yesterday because of the red hots. That's a whole other story. So
the red hots. Of course, you would mention cotton candy.
Did you know? Hey, did you know what Fenway Park? The top 3 selling vended. The guys that go up and down the stands.
Yep.
What do you think the top 3 items are that they sell?
Well, most gonna be beer.
That's number 1.
Right. Popcorn.
No.
And hot dogs.
Hot dogs number 2. You know what number 3 is?
Cotton candy.
Dell's lemonade.
I was just gonna say Dell's
Not
lemonade.
at Fenway Park.
Swear to God.
That's a whole episode. Dell's lemonade. Dell's lemonade is a whole episode.
We'll talk about that someday. I used to own the franchise rights in Arizona. That's a whole different topic.
He's talking Dell's lemonade in Peoria, Arizona.
That's a whole segment. Like, you'd have to take over Catone's comments and talk about Dell's lemonade.
Well,
we might have to sedate you for that episode.
I've been banned. I've been banned from doing anything like that in CATONE'S comments. So we're not going to do that. But I wanted to bring, before Real Deal, I wanted to bring that up. And, guys, have a nice holiday. And I hope everybody out there does too. Just don't eat meat tomorrow. Make sure.
You know what?
Ready?
I could have a veggie hot dog. That's where Impossible Burger's going to jump up.
Veggie hot dog?
I know.
What the hell is he
I've
talking
never
about?
heard of that.
Veggie dogs. I tell you what, the Dodgers have them. I don't
Veggie
know.
dogs?
Veggie
Of
dogs.
course, L.A. It's L.A. I mean,
Exactly. It's L.A. It's like get up at the Times.
Yeah,
People
the home of the bitch slap at the Oscars.
What are you going to do?
I
know, right?
Veggie dogs. That's some Joe. You just taught me something new. I didn't know those existed.
If you really got to have a hot dog that bad, I mean, you're going to have a veggie dog.
Same, right?
Oh, please. All right. So are you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right, let's get real.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the Real Deal New England Field. It's going to be real.
My kingdom for some athletes. 2 weeks from now is the NFL draft. Free agency is pretty much subsided at this point. Patriots, I think, have signed whoever they're going to sign. And so now we're getting ready for the draft. So we thought we would talk about and discuss what are the positions of need. I mean, ranking them. And then maybe some ideas for the type of athlete that we're begging for. So, guys, rank them.
Position by need?
Yeah.
Well,
did you hear what I just said? Paying attention.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Fenway Franks.
No, I'm thinking of the veggie dogs. Never mind Fenway
He's thinking
Franks.
about the Easter bunny and the Easter egg hunt. Go ahead.
So position by rank, Chris. I would say wide receiver, but that's not how they think. So trying to think like
this is what we think. This is what CORSO and Catone.
I'm telling you right now. First round, 21st pick was going to be an offensive lineman. He's taking an offensive lineman. I'm telling you, he's taking an offensive lineman.
All right. What would you like to see him? I mean,
I would like to see a linebacker. I would like to see a linebacker like Nakobe Dean from Georgia, or I would love to see a wide receiver like Jamison Williams from Alabama, or one of those type of guys. Because listen, I understand you went and got Devontae Parker, and yes, he's going to help, but the league has changed, okay? You need multiple guys at the receiver position to make life a hell of a lot easier for Mac Jones and to do what these other teams are going to be capable of doing that you just can't do. And you need a guy like Nakobe Dean at linebacker who can go sideline to sideline and disrupt the team's defense. This idea of playing in space and being big and physical and not having to go sideline to sideline is a thing of the past, I think. But it seems that that's not Belichick's logic.
To me, the most important need for this team, I would have said wide receiver before. And I still think it is. It depends on who's there. If Williams is there, then I can't imagine how you pass on him. I just don't think he's going to be there.
They'll pass.
I just don't think he'll be there. So I believe speed on defense is important. So linebacker. I'm pretty much, and you're coming around to Dean as well. Everyone's high up on Lloyd. The linebacker out of Utah saying basically he's more of a Patriots guy. He's an interior guy, not so much speed to get sideline to sideline, although it was deceptive. If you watch him play, he will move lateral, but he'll fill gaps and he provides that a little bit more bulk in the middle. That's not what we need. I echo what Mark's saying. Speed. It's addition by subtraction, meaning you got to get leaner and quicker in the center of the field. You have to. Okay, so that's Dean. He's quick as hell, man. Sideline to sideline. He can play a little bit on the edge too. He's undersized for a linebacker. He's like Duggar. Duggar's sort of like that size. Only he's quicker. He's got more impact at the point of contact. And he could cover guys. That's where the league's going right now. I mean, how many bruising backs are there in the league that we're going to have to deal with?
Other than Henry from Tennessee, and Jacobs maybe from Oakland, there really isn't a lot of big bruising backs anymore.
Yeah, but the Raiders now are going to be throwing the ball over the damn field. Look at what you're dealing with in the AFC now. In your own division. with Hill and Waddle and Diggs and these guys. I mean, you've got to be quick in the center of the field. So to me, linebacker, and those are
in corner.
And corner, but some other names to look for. You notice the common theme for us is all. I mean, I'm talking Dean from Georgia, Walker from Georgia, another guy that can get from middle inside to outside. Harris, Alabama, who didn't play quite up to what an Alabama you would think an Alabama linebacker would, but I think he's got a high ceiling. Those are the guys I think. And Mark, what's next? What's next on the list? Defensive back to you, corner. There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of
You know
good
what?
ones.
You know what I don't understand? How is it possible that they brought in? I read this week they brought in corners from Arizona State. Arizona State. You know who came from Arizona State?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
A name that won't be mentioned anymore. Once he's released and cut. So yeah, I heard that. I saw that as well. I mean, I don't want anything out of the Pac-12. You want corners, you want skill positions, you go to the SEC. And some guys you need to look for, obviously, Booth. That's a guy that'll probably be there at 21, although I don't know if you really want to take a corner at that spot at that point. I think it depends. I mean, if the linebackers are gone, Williams is gone, I'm okay with the corner there. I'm okay with Booth there. But then when you go further into the draft, Clemson has Booth is Elam out of Florida. That corner fits your kind of style. A lot of zone play. He can handle it. He can turn inside very, very well. He can break and come back, T-step and come back on the ball quick. So when he's in zone, and he can also turn and run with guys. So,
they're also mentioning at 21 the corner from Washington, another Pac-10 school, and the guy from Washington, Chris. I actually looked at his tape. Okay, so he's closing from sideline to sideline, and he's as a corner, and he's tracking guys. But then when you look at who he's tracking, and you look at their 40 times, he's gonna get destroyed in our division. If you think you're drafting him at 21, that's a huge mistake because of the inferior competition he's facing in the Pac-12.
I don't know when they're going to get that through their heads. I don't know when it's going to happen where people don't get through their heads that competition makes a difference in college. I mean, for Christ almighty, SEC, Alabama, Clemson, LSU, Georgia, freaking South Carolina, Mississippi. I mean, these guys, they're Florida. They're playing NFL talent every single. You watch after this draft, how many, we'll count them up. And on our post-draft show, we will talk about how many guys from the SEC, skill position guys, were brought in, especially defensive back and wide receiver. I mean, it's absurd why you would look anywhere else. Yeah, I mean, those are the names I have. Booth, Elam from Florida, Davis is another guy you can get a little bit later, second, third round out of Alabama, and that scene from that safety. Keep your eye on that guy from Georgia. So defensive back is of need, Mark. So isn't like we said, linebacker.
And you had mentioned last week or the week before too. So because of the scheme that New England's running, you don't necessarily need a number one lockdown, shutdown corner, but you need somebody that can play a combination of different things and someone that can play zone. And because like you mentioned the other day, that's some 60, 70% of what New England's in now.
Yeah. Inside out. Yeah. I mean, it's outside in, and you need a guy to play the inside, the outside. I mean, is it a question? Okay.
So do you have to be a top athlete though to play that style?
You have to be a good athlete, of course, in the NFL, but you also have to have the intelligence. You also have to have the ability to read what's happening, read route combinations, run the route for them. If you're going to play zone like that, you got to get to a spot. You got to understand timing patterns and things like that, And
I'm glad you said that because that's what I wanted you to say, because that's the view that Belichick takes, what you just said about reading, understanding, having the intelligence. He looks at that, and I don't think he cares if you're an athlete.
Yeah,
because if you have what you just described, that's his problem, I think, with that position, is evaluating it out of the draft. Don't get me wrong. If you're a free agent, he can look at your body of work in the NFL and he evaluate and say, yeah, he fits. But he's gotten lucky with some and developed some good undrafted players, J.C. Jackson, Malcolm Butler. But looking at these guys in totality in the draft, he has trouble deciphering what you just said in an athlete. And I think he undervalues the athlete side of it. And that's why he's had so many second-round busts with these corners he takes.
Dawson and company. Yeah, Razai Dowling and
because I don't think he balances that what you described as far as smarts and understanding and the athlete part of it.
I mean, for Christ's sakes, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Go get the defensive backs out of the friggin' SEC. I'm gonna keep saying this till I'm blue in the face. Go get the SEC. Go get them, and the wide receivers. Get them too. The only guy I would take, I love that Sky Moore. And I know you love him, but I don't think he's gonna be there. I think he's gonna be gone quicker than people think. I saw a mock draft that had him in the first round.
You're going back to wide receiver now.
Yeah.
Sky Moore, I think, will be there in the second round, but that's it. He won't last after that. You can't sit and say, oh, you know what? He'll be there in the third round. He's not going to be there in the third round. He had such a good combine and such a good pro day that his route running, he's going to be in his speed. He's going to be gone. So if you don't take him in the second round, you're not going to get him. The kid I like in the second round, and I think you do too, is Mechie from Alabama, right?
They brought him in,
and they met with him at the combine. So there's definitely an interest there, right?
Well, and he played with Mac Jones as a sophomore. Yeah. Well, that was Bolden, right? Bolden was
I'm sorry. You're right. That was Bolden. I'm sorry.
And I want him too.
Listen, they brought Bolden in, by the way, the other day.
Good. I want both of those guys. If that's their plan, listen, if it's their plan, I'm happy if they take Dean, then Mechie, okay, and then somewhere in the 6th round or so, take Bolden, and then fill in with the offensive line. And then you fill in
between rounds 2 through 6, you fill in the other positions of need, right?
But you're right. You're right. Remember this name, Johnson, the guard from Boston College, with the 21st pick in the draft.
I want to see your face.
Let me tell you something. I mean, look, it's one thing if you were looking at Raymond, that Central Michigan tackle. Maybe
a stretch, but at least he's a tackle.
Do you remember who they took the guard? Isaiah Wynn, this 21st pick. Remember that they took him out of Georgia.
You might see it again,
and you're going to see it again. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, okay? And then we'll get the break. If they take that lineman guard out of Boston College, you're going to see an Oscar moment out of me. I'm going to walk up to Belichick on the stage and I'm going to slap him silly, slap the crap out of him, and have my own Oscar moment. They'll be dragging me out and friggin' handcuffs.
Joe, what's wrong with him? And he wants to have an Oscar moment.
That's it.
I thought an Oscar Meyer moment for a second.
No, not tomorrow. No Fenway Franks.
No Fenway. That's
listen.
For you devout Catholics.
Listen, you do realize that today is Bill Belichick's birthday. I believe he turned 70 today.
Is he really? Happy birthday, Bill. You better take a friggin' wide receiver or a damn linebacker. That's what I'm going to get you.
I think he turned 70.
Yeah, I'm going to get you a big sign with all the SEC friggin' teams on there, Go
listen, you know what, though? All kidding aside, we've been debating this for a couple of weeks now, right?
Yeah.
Is it really rocket science? I mean, when you really boil it down, I mean, looking at the last 2, 3, 4 drafts, I mean, if you just focus on SEC talent and do your homework at every skilled position. And when I say skilled position, I'm going to include in that corner, wide receiver.
Well, yeah,
right?
Skilled positions.
Yeah. If you stuck with that conference, how difficult is it to draft? I mean, don't get me wrong. You're going to get into the offensive line, or that's different. Maybe there are other schools you're going to look at.
Penn State, Michigan, those Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Those are factories for offensive linemen.
But how difficult is it to look at those SEC schools and be able to fill out the majority of your draft board?
Especially when your best friend is coaching at Alabama.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother issue.
Well, he's over there. Why wouldn't you? Your quarterback played there. His roommate is coming out in the draft. What the hell you want to talk about chemistry? Holy Christ.
Listen, when his friend says the epitome of a wide receiver, in his opinion, is John Mechie, How do you
Over,
not take
done.
him if he's in
And
there in
listen,
the second round?
I love Mechie. He's a guy. He's a great route. He's a guy that would last 15 years in the NFL. That's that kind of guy. He's a great route runner. He squares up for the quarterback. Okay, he goes up and gets the ball. He doesn't have blazing speed.
You know
but he'll
what?
get away
You know
from
who
you.
somebody I was listening to somebody the other day, and they were talking about Mechie's faults, right? And somebody was on, and they said, you know who Mechie reminds them of? Didn't have blazing speed, that breakaway blazing speed. Great route runner, intelligent, understood space. He compared him, and I know it's a stretch, right? But he said he had a lot of the traits of Marvin Harrison.
Oh, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'll take it. When I heard that, I said, I'll take it.
I don't think there was ever a more intelligent wide receiver than that.
And that's what he compared Mechie to because of those intangibles that Harrison had.
Precise.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Exactly.
again, yeah, my king. So our kingdom for some athletes, and that's the real deal. Look, and the question still remains: what positions are there of need, and what type of player do they need at that position? So we want to hear that from you.
Prediction,
Yeah.
though. Prediction.
Yes.
They are taking an offensive lineman in the first round. Or
No, you know what? Stop telling
wait
me
a
that.
minute.
You'll ruin my Easter.
Listen, go have a Fenway Frank. Listen, they're either gonna take an offensive lineman or they're gonna trade down,
Trade out, yeah.
trade out, and get an extra pick in the second round. Because if they want to take Mechie and a linebacker, now you get the extra second round pick, right?
There are going to be some good linebackers in the second round. So want to hear from you in Heated Hotline. These are pearls. So have a take, call us, let us know what you think the Patriots need. And Real Deal was presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. When we come back, earmuffs for the children. Catone's Comments is next.
Special Sauce Podcast. You liking the song? The sauce is good, man. So start out with finance, train them, trust them, and let them lead. With your host, Marcus Aurelius. Tune in to Special Sauce Podcast, wherever you podcast. What's your special sauce? Time for Catone's Comments!
So, as was just mentioned, so Easter's coming up, right? Holiday weekend. So, holiday weekend, what do you think is going to happen? Inevitably, my wife is going to want to send me to some store. Okay.
Oh, God.
So, wait a minute. So, I told her, we had this conversation last night. I said, no stores. Holiday weekend's coming up. I am not going to a store. Don't ask. Don't even think about it. Don't let the thought cross your mind. So she said to me, but I don't understand, Mark. What is your problem with going to a store? Why? Why you? Why do you always have to come back when something happened when you went to the store? So I started thinking about it. And I really started thinking about, well, what really are my pet peeves that aggravate me about people in stores? So I said, you know what aggravates me? You're in a store, one of these other big box stores, maybe, and there's an escalator. And now you get on the escalator, and you're going to the second floor, third floor, whatever, how many floors it's got. And you got these idiots that want to speed walk, run up the escalator. No, the escalator's made for you to get on the step. You stay there, you wait, courtesy. You get to the second floor, you get off. You get to the third floor, whatever your destination is. No, you got these idiots they're knocking elderly people over. They're hanging off the side of the escalator because you got these people, these morons who want to try. They can't wait 30 seconds to get to the next floor. You're in that much of a hurry to go buy a pair of shoes? Where are you going? I don't understand it. Then you get outside. Okay, now you're going outside, and you got these people who are walking with you. They're walking out the door, and they don't got the common decency to hold the door open. They slam the door in your face. You're walking behind them. They don't care if you're a child, if you're elderly, if you're in a wheelchair. They just let the door slam in your face. They're rude. and they're ignorant. Show some decency and some respect. Hold the door open for a stranger. Show some respect. Say, hey, come on in, go, whatever. But no, these people slam doors in your face. Ignorant people. I can't deal with it. You want to send me to stores, and that's what you're dealing with. Now you get outside, and you got these people who they take the carts, the shopping carts. They take their stuff out of the shopping cart. They put their stuff in their cars. You're too lazy to go walk the cart to the place where you're supposed to put it. No, they leave it in the parking lot. Now the wind blows. It's blowing in against your car. It's banging your car door. You're coming out with 3 dents because Fatso didn't want to walk 25 feet to go put the carriage where it belongs. So now I got 3 dents on the side of my car because of this idiot that couldn't walk the thing where it belonged. Okay? Then
There's more.
Then you got these people. There's lines for you to park your car in between the lines. Very simple. Park in between the lines. You get out. You go to the store. You come back. You leave. No, they want to park over the line, half in the line. They're taking up two spaces, 2.5 spaces, whatever they do. Parking between the damn lines. Then you wonder why there's no parking in these parking lots, these parking garages, because people can't park. Then they're banging their door open to get in, and they're banging your car because there's no space, because these idiots don't know how to park in between the lines. So you ask me why I don't want to go shopping to stores. Well, those are some of the reasons. I told my wife last night. I said, I don't want to go to stores anymore. So I don't go. So at least this weekend, I know that she's not asking me to go to any store. So I can relax. Because I finally explained to her why I don't want to go to stores. I don't think she looked at me like I was from another planet, but I explained it to her.
Okay. Well, okay, Mark. So, Joe, I feel like, sorry, I was clicking buttons with the pictures and everything like that.
Buttons over here.
Well, I'm over here laughing so hard. I'm muting my mic. So, I think I know what's going to be in Mark's Easter basket on Sunday. Or in the little eggs for the Easter egg, the anxiety medication. Every one, a pill in each one of the. Each one of the things. Mark, she knows why. That's her way. That's her way of,
Right, those things don't activate. What I just said doesn't.
Your wife sends you to the store because she knows. She knows she wants her. That's her payback for you being who you are.
Why do you and Joe disagree with what I just described about all these stores?
Not 1 ounce do I disagree. Not 1 ounce.
Rarely do I disagree with you, Mark. Rarely.
I do have a question. So, do you actually touch the black belts on those escalators?
No.
You put your hands on them?
No. Nope.
I saw a kid lick one of those once.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Licked it.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, I don't go anywhere anyway. You know what happens to me if I go places. But like, I don't touch anything. Talking about holding doors open for people, I kick it with my foot. Like, yeah, come on. I can't touch it. I haven't touched doors. Forget COVID. 20 years it's been. I had COVID twice.
But at least you got the common decency to hold the door open with your foot.
Yeah. No, I hit the with my key. I hit the handicap button, so the door's open automatically. So now you say have the common courtesy, right? To to help people in wheelchairs, all this stuff. Says the guy, okay, who. His neighbor fell down in the snow and he stood there and laughed his ass off at the guy and don't even shake your head as if it didn't. Joe,
what does this have to do with CATONE'S comments?
So, I mean, practice what you preach, right? Go help the guy up next door, shovel his driveway.
Listen, I didn't help him up because he let his leaves all over my yard after I spent hours cleaning the yard.
People are irritating with the damn shopping carts, though. They really are.
Oh,
Hey,
God, we're crazy.
you know what? I thought it was a great idea for what those Southwest commercials, the airlines where they say you want to get away.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be a great commercial where if a guy pushes the cart across the parking lot to try to aim for the little slot, and there's people loading their car next door, and the cart veers off, and the guy can't do anything about it. He's already let it go, and it hits the car in the back. That would be a fun spot, wouldn't it?
That would be a fun spot, yeah.
Want to get away? The guy
away.
standing there with it. Sorry, man. But no, people are annoying, Mark. People are for sure annoying. But Joe, I guarantee you he's in the store this weekend.
Nope.
You?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Come on,
No
no
stores.
Trees, nothing. Stop.
No stores. Well, maybe. Well, no, maybe the liquor store.
Yeah.
You didn't stock up on the bourbon? You didn't do that?
No, that I don't need. I got more than enough bottles of that.
Wow, you got enough of that. So listen, we want to hear from you out there. This would be perfect heated hotline. Give us a call. Let us know your parking lot stories, your stores, going into stores, your horror stories. Everyone's got them. We want to hear from you. So good stuff, Mark. Good stuff. Catone's Comments was presented by Jag Media Productions. And listen, since we're asking everybody to call into heated hotline, what do you say we get to one?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hi, this is Julie from Johnston. I'm calling to talk about the Yankees. After watching the Red Sox-Yankee series, it's the same old Yankees. They have to hit home runs to score. Their shortstop stinks. The catcher stinks. They need to reboot. What are your thoughts?
Julie's it's what are we 5-6 games in, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Julie's already upset. She's already upset. She's ready. Hey, that's a real deal New England field person right there,
I mean, hey, isn't it when you guys watch the first Patriots game, you're like, same thing. All right, that's it. Same old.
So she sounds like a diehard baseball fan, that's for sure.
She's ready to she's ready to jump over there with the Yankees. So Mark, listen, we'll talk about it. I mean, they've been through that series with the Red Sox. Yeah, they haven't really looked all that.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have to agree with the caller 100% because they are the same. I mean, I don't know what they necessarily. I mean, they made a few moves during the offseason, right? Okay, they did, right? So you went and made a deal. You bring in some shortstop that's batting 059. You got rid of Gary Sanchez. The catcher's batting 059, right? So she brings up shortstop and catcher. They're atrocious, right? So I'm glad she brought them up. But so you made these moves, but what did you do fundamentally to your roster to make this team any different than the one that's been on the field the last 3 or 4 years? She is right. Either they're going to hit a 2 or 3 run home run or a solo home run. They're going to put runs on the board. They cannot string hits together and manufacture runs like these other teams. Even the Red Sox, the other day against Detroit, they didn't hit a home run. They scored 9 runs. Yankees cannot do that. They can't score 9 runs without hitting a home run. You watch these other teams, Tampa Bay, the Dodgers. These teams are scoring runs. They're not hitting home runs. We have to hit home runs.
Yeah. I mean, is there when you talk about that lineup, okay?
Yep.
So I mean, talk to the people. Go down some of that lineup. I mean,
let me ask you this: you want to know what's wrong with the lineup? Do you know who was hitting leadoff last night?
You're gonna tell us?
Yeah, you don't know. You know, I thought maybe you watched the game. Anthony Rizzo. How is Anthony Rizzo
he doesn't belong in that spot?
Batting leadoff. He's leading the team in home runs. By the way, you got him batting leadoff.
Well, they're never going to take because Stanton will always sit in that.
Stanton didn't even play yesterday. He had an off day. Stanton had an off day.
He's always going to sit in that power spot. So who should be leading off then?
Well, that's the problem. You don't have a leadoff hitter because of the way your roster's constructed. So last year, sometimes he had DJ LeMahieu leading off. Are you kidding me? Really? Like the lineup, the lineup is flawed. And the fact that you had Anthony Rizzo leading off last night is the epitome of having a flawed batting order.
So we talked about that. We said that the catching in the shortstop, that middle infield part is going to be an issue. It's going to be
supposedly though they fixed it with the trade they made.
Yeah, well, let's see. But so let's say it goes this way. This trend continues for them. Let's just take shortstop for a minute. Do they go out and make a deal?
They should have signed Trevor Story.
Yeah, and that was something we talked about when free agency all started up again, when all this lockout stuff and everything ended, we said go get Story rather than Boston, and they didn't do it. Now, do they make a play? He's got an opt out next year, so I'm not sure how that would work. But do you go get a guy like Bogarts?
Absolutely. I go get Xander Bogaerts. Absolutely. He's opting out. They offered him some bogus. Today it came out. They offered him some bogus extension, 1-year extension, like $30 million, but it really didn't do anything to his bottom line because he took a team-friendly deal originally. So he's gone. He's not coming back. He's going to opt out, and he's going into free agency
why not
next
pluck
year.
him out now?
So,
Why not pluck him now?
No, they won't trade him to the Yankees. But I think the Red Sox are going to gamble. They're going to play it out, see what happens to him. If he happens to opt out, well, they got Trevor Story to slide in. So,
So for the Yankees, it's patchwork until
patchwork.
Next
Well,
season.
supposedly they won't go out. They got the kid in the minor leagues, Volpe, is that they think is the next shortstop for the next 10 years. My problem with that is Cashman has misjudged minor league talent for the last 5 years. Wouldn't part with Clint Frazier when he could have gotten you good prospects. Even Gleyber Torres is not what he thought he was going to be. He thought he was going to be a superstar. He's decent. He ain't a superstar. You could have got a boatload for him a couple of years ago if you traded him. Now, you're not getting anything for him. So all these minor league guys that he thinks are going to be superstars when they come up, they're prospects. They don't turn out to be stud prospects. I would rather trade this kid Volpe, go get some pitching or something for him, and just sign Bogarts. Bring in an established player who's good. Trade some of those prospects. Bring in some other veterans. Do like the Rams are doing in football. I'd go get Bogarts. I ain't taking a shot on a 22-year-old shortstop.
And to your point too about small ball, Mark, they haven't been that. Boone he'll never even press the button to think about doing something like that to begin with. Even if these guys could, he wouldn't do it. Okay, and again, murderer's row. Except they haven't been when it really counts. And that's the problem.
So what? Now look at Judge. They offered him $230 million.
Well,
he don't want it.
You talk about Cashman, right?
Yep.
But so they offered him. Go ahead. What again? What was the 130?
Supposedly they offered him $230 million. That's what Cashman released.
Sorry. But what the hell? How on earth do you come out in a press conference, Cashman, and say, "What are you're playing to your fans by letting them know, by airing out that laundry? This is what we offered them."
So what do you think's going to happen when he becomes a free agent?
He's done. Those are the kind of things that make players say, "Bye, I'm not doing this." You're a GM. You're going to call me out like that in the press? You want to talk about our contract negotiations? That is not the guy to do that with. Listen, if there's never been more of an example of why this clown needs to be gone, Cashman, this needed to happen. Like if the old man, he's got to be rolling, okay, in that grave. Cashman would have been done 8 times over already, and he would never have hired Boone.
No, and I'm going to tell you something. The issue is Steinbrenner, Hal Steinbrenner, the managing partner, is nothing like his father. He is allowing this because he's about profit margin, bottom line. He's getting all this money from the Yes Network. He's got all these sponsors. They're the richest franchise in any sport. He's got all this money coming in, but yet he wants to stay below a certain threshold in order to avoid paying payroll tax penalties. That's why
they're Yankees.
I know that, but that's why supposedly he's not offering Judge $300 million. That's why he didn't go get offer Carlos Correa money, Trevor Story money. He's got a cheaper option at shortstop until his prospect comes up. But Steinbrenner is okay with that. He's okay with what Cashman is doing because Cashman is doing exactly what he's telling him to do with his money. He's managing his money. Instead of doing what the Dodgers are doing, they're blowing through every threshold there is to put a team together to win a championship. That's how the Yankees used to be with the father. Those days are gone.
That's
They're
because
gone.
he's just like every snot-nosed little brat that takes over a franchise, like all the rest of them are, that don't know what the hell they're doing, and they sit up there like morons trying to run the New York Yankees. You fool! You're worried about freaking a luxury tax, you damn fool. You know? Yeah.
With all the money he's bringing in, that's what he's worried about, right?
So, well,
so that's why you're stuck with Cashman. You're stuck with Boone, and that's why the caller is 100% right. That's why that lineup is built the way it's built. She's right. The catcher stinks. The shortstop stinks. They're going to hit a 2 or 3 run homer to win a game. They can't string together hits.
2 huge positions, 2 the most important defensive positions on the field, a catcher and shortstop. No, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, Julie, thank you for the call. She is right, and we will track that. And hey, listen, no better way to segue into the next segment for Weekly Rewind we're going to come back with, but Heated Hotline was presented by CORSO Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CORSOLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. When we come back, Weekly Rewind.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CORSOLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. CORSO Law Group.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel, and I'm so glad that Julie brought up the Yankees in the last segment in Heated Hotline, because that's a perfect segue into what we're going to discuss in Weekly Rewind. Let's have it.
I'm getting it. Going back through the week. About a weekly rewind.
So are the Red Sox going to make the playoffs? Believe it or not, it's this early in the season, and there have been some experts around New England, the so-called experts, the old-timers, that are basically saying, yeah, I don't think this team's a playoff team, based on the starting pitching. Yeah, the Mark's face tells the story. And while there are some early season observations, I throw it to you, Mark. Is this team a playoff team as constructed?
I'm going to say yes, only because they extended the wild card by a team this year. I believe they added a team, right, with this new contract. They're a playoff team because, listen, just look at the lineup, right? Look at the lineup they have. You have, besides J.D. Martinez, Devers, Bogarts, you also have Verdugo. You have
Martinez.
Right? You have all these. You have Kiki Hernandez, who can get on base and do different things for you. You have Trevor Story now on that, also in that lineup. I mean, when you look at it, they have guys that are going to be able to produce runs. They don't have to hit home runs like we just talked about the Yankees. Like I said, they scored 9 runs the other day against Detroit. They didn't hit a home run. They're able to manufacture runs. They have a couple of guys in between there who can steal bases. They're going to hit extra base hits. And when they do need a 2 or 3 run homer, you got JD, you got Devers, and you got Bogarts. I'm going to tell you something. Devers is probably one of the top 2 or 3 left-handed hitters in the entire Major League Baseball. Okay, so he's that good. I watched him the other day against the Yankees, and I said to myself, wow, this kid is good. Like, I didn't realize how good of a hitter Devers really was. I mean, he has full plate coverage. He goes with pitches. He's just a complete all-around hitter who's got power. I mean,
pay that man. Pay that man.
Listen, they disrespected him too. They're going to lose him.
And Bogarts. Listen.
You know what? That's the Heim Bloom way. He's taking that Tampa Bay mentality. You don't need those guys to win.
Right. So when so it's the double-edged sword. You like the small ball, you like all that, and you like the farm system stuff. Now you're but you're the Boston Red Sox. You got a $200 million payroll. You should be winning. You should be signing these guys, but they're very far apart. In the deal.
They're like 100. Chris, they're $100 million apart. $100 million a pot in what they offered.
And he's going to get it.
Of course, he's going to get it.
He's going to get it. So why not? Why not? I mean, you have a good lineup. Okay, at the moment, there's some issues, and we'll get to those in a second. But yeah, Mark, I mean, okay, your weak link, you got Bradley, right? Last year he was like a 180 hitter. I mean, he just got his first hit the other night. But that meat of that lineup, as you say, Mark, that's a strong lineup, and defensively they're pretty damn good. I mean, but again, when you listen to the experts, see, I think the issue is the old timers look at the starting pitching. We've talked about this. They look at the starting pitching as if you don't have an ace, if you don't have a Kershaw, if you don't have a Scherzer, who I know is injured, but if you don't have that kind of guy, then you're in trouble. You can't make hay in this league. And I say that's nonsense now. I mean, these pitches go 2 innings, 3 innings. Now, okay, in that first series, you saw some of these pitches go 5. A 5 innings is the new 8. You know what I mean? And so,
that's a good point. The 5 innings is now the new 8. You're right.
I mean, you got relief pitches. My feeling about this. Pack your roster with mentally tough pitchers that could come out of the pen at any given point in the game, because that's where the game is going right now. Who's my closer? Anybody, anyone.
And you know what? What you just described,
maybe one or 2 starters.
And what you just described is the epitome of the Red Sox staff, right? They got a bullpen they got some mentally tough guys, and they got guys that'll come out of the bullpen in any inning that you ask them to come out of the bullpen. And he's got his binder, right? They got all the analytic guys upstairs. He's got his binder, right? And Cora looks and says, okay, we're going to go, this guy, here we go. He's going to match up against this guy because this guy can't hit this pitch and this pitch. Here we go. But so he's got his binder. He's got all his matchups. He's got all his statistical guys every week, every night, banging numbers for him. So when you play these teams, every series, he's got all his analytics ready for every player on that team's bench.
They took out who they take out last night was throwing a perfect game. They took him out in the 7th inning. Who the hell was it? What's the name?
Oh, that was the Dodgers. That was Kershaw. But
Kershaw was throwing a perfect game.
They did that because of pitch count. Because it was so early in the season.
So what? Pitch count. You got to throw a perfect game. It's early in the season.
Yeah, but he's had a history. He's had some injuries, and that was more about health. No, but that was more about health than it was analytics, though.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the season. What do you mean the health? How many innings?
There's only been 23 in history.
No, yeah. Listen.
When does it come to a point where a perfect game doesn't mean anything?
Nobody's more of a baseball purist than me. And I would love to see a perfect game, but I'm going to defend the Dodgers because that was about health. Health.
What health? You got a problem with health? It's friggin' the first week of the season.
You know what your problem is? Your problem is you got that football mentality. You want to go out there with concussions and busted backs.
You go back in time and you look at some of these pitches, okay? They could have played football. You know what I mean? They're weak. They're soft now. Everything's soft. But Mark, back to the Red Sox. Listen, if they don't make it's the toughest division in
it's the toughest division in baseball.
And I don't think anybody's going to touch Toronto in that division.
Listen, did you see the kid last night? I know we're talking about the Red Sox, but
3 home runs, a double.
That kid Guerrero Jr. is not just a great player. He is a generational talent.
Yeah.
You don't see many of those players come along. That kid's a generational talent. He's that good. If you've never seen him play, please, viewers, catch a Toronto Blue Jay baseball game and just watch this kid hit a baseball. It's unbelievable.
Did you see the play he made?
Yeah, that was defensively,
To end the game, I played first base. That ball, ask your son, he plays first. That ball was a rocket that was hit down there to end the game. It was behind him. He caught it.
Yeah, he's a generational
Yeah, but you know
player.
what? Pitch to him more. He had 3 home runs, a double. No, don't put him on. Pitch to him. This is your point.
I will say this. We're talking about the Red Sox. Cora would have had somebody in there that could, if they couldn't pitch to him, he would have put him on base because he's looking at the numbers. He wouldn't have did what Boone did last night.
Well, Boone's that's another issue for the Yankees. But the Red Sox, Mark, if they don't make the playoffs, look, you have a $200 million payroll. Okay, you've won an average of 94 games over the last 5 years.
Yep.
You throw a World Series championship in there. The down year in 19 was it 19 or 20? The down year was like 80.
It was the COVID year, I think, was the down year.
20. 85 wins.
Yeah.
That's still a good freaking record. So, with a $200 million payroll, it's a failure for Hein Bloom if they don't make the playoffs in year 3 of his tenure here, right?
No, I think it is. I definitely think it is. But I think the way they're constructed, if they stay healthy offensively, the way he's analytically put that pitching staff together, I think they're going to win 93, 94, 95 games, and that's enough to get you at least a wild card. You wait on. I don't think they can win the American League East, but they'll get a wild card.
Well, listen,
and they get into the playoffs.
I mean, there are some early issues. Home runs. The starting lineup is giving up. I mean, all of last year allowed, let's see, 106 home runs from their starters, 70 from their relievers. This season, they've allowed 9 home runs in 6 games.
Yeah,
Fuck, they're starters. That's not good. So they got some things to clean up there, and the middle infield hasn't been that good. I will say that Story had the kid. He missed a couple of games. He probably hasn't got much sleep, so he's a little behind right now. And Bogarts, he's got that little nagging injury, but I think he'll come around.
He'll come around, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think Story's going to be all right. Wait until I get to Fenway Park and he starts hitting off the Green Monster. Wait. He's a Fenway Park. He's going to be a perfect Fenway Park hitter. I mean, they just happened to open up on the road.
Sorry, my muting Mark. I got all kinds of issues with my equipment. So
that's because he wants to put the pitches on the football field. That's why.
So the question still remains for the Red Sox: are they a playoff team? Want to hear from you?
Yes.
Want to hear from you, and want to hear from them in Heated Hotline. Not you. We've heard enough from you. And this week, Celtics going to start off their series with the Nets on Sunday. I think it's 3:30 start.
Yeah, on Sunday.
So listen, the biggest question for me on this, and should be for all of you out there, is why not rest the guys on Sunday? Why are we playing?
You mean last Sunday?
Last Sunday. Why are we playing the Nets?
Listen, I don't get it. Milwaukee made sure they lost on Sunday, didn't they? Conveniently. They didn't play conveniently, and Philly conveniently, right? But no, the Celtics wanted to go win by 30 on Sunday instead of, listen.
Although I think Philly won, but yeah.
They did.
But they rested Embiid.
But they they still won. I mean, why? Jaylen Brown, Tatum, rest him. Oh, their knees are sore. Horford, the back, rest them. Like, there was no reason for those guys to be playing. Lose the game. Why do you want to play Brooklyn in the opening round? Yeah. We can beat them, but why do you want to take that risk of playing them?
And the whole idea of, we want to go in on a roll. We want to go in with momentum. Resting guys on the last game of the year is not losing momentum. This is different than football. You can rest the guys. I mean, they did it a few nights before that. They did it against Milwaukee. So do it on the last game of the year. And hey, look, if your backup still win the game, what are you going to do? You win the game. But God damn it. No, I'm sorry. I don't like this macho crap.
No.
I want to face the Nets. I want the Nets. Like, what do we,
Joe, he sounded like the Incredible Hulk. Remember Lou Ferrigno?
Well, that's what people are like. People are like, if you want to be the best, you have to face the best. What a crock of crap that is. You know what? You know how I can't even wrap my head around that. Look, the bottom line is, that attitude sucks. I don't want anything to do with two of the best players in the league. Durant could take over an entire, not a game, a series.
And so
he can take over an entire series, and Irving too. So let's go through that game. So now here they are. Here we are. We're bitching and complaining about what already happened. Let's talk about the series because no Robert Williams. What's the matchup like?
Did you see the kid Brown for the Nets kind of say that he likes the matchup because of no Robert Williams, and that Durant was quick to kind of shut him down?
Yeah. He said, I don't know. He was some caffeine. He said he must have had some caffeine before the interview. And he was, those guys can get it done in Boston. Yeah, he knows. So when you break down this matchup, yes, they should. Does this make it a tighter series now? Do you think it go how many games do you think it goes?
Without Robert Williams, I think it's a tighter series because I think Robert Williams was a rim protector and could do things around the rim. And I think Kevin Durant likes that little baseline jumper sometimes. He puts up that floater. And I think with Robert Williams in there, that kind of takes that one shot away from Durant. Anything you could take away from Durant is a bonus because he's the best player in the league, I think. I mean, my opinion right now. And Williams could take that away from that little shot away from him because of the way he defended under there. So yeah, I think it's gonna make it a little bit longer. I still think personally the Celtics are gonna win this thing. My prediction: the Celtics are gonna win this in 6. If it goes 7, here's my prediction: Celtics in 6. If it goes 7, Brooklyn beats them at the Garden because Durant and Irving will take the game, will outscore Jaylen Brown and Tatum, and Durant and Irving will thrust that team to a Game 7 win. We're going to win it in 6. If it goes 7, we lose it.
Not only that.
That's my prediction. We're winning it in 6.
We've had issues. The Celtics have had issues all season finishing games where it's like a small, a 5-point game, a tight game. And they've had issues winning those types of games. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. You make this game a 3-point, 5-point game at the end with like 2-3 minutes left. Those two guys, Durant's taking over that game and he's winning that game. That's it. I don't care who you put on him. Now, I will say they're a much more perimeter-based team than interior. But they like to drive. We talked about this a week ago or so, where no Robert Williams, guys drive to that net, and they're not looking anywhere but to the net. They're not looking to their side for the block to come with Tice and Horford. It's not happening. So that's a problem with Durant. That's also a problem with Kyrie. But so Marcus Smart and Brown are such good defenders, though, that there's an opportunity for them to actually keep Kyrie really under wraps. Those two guys can get that done. And Horford, hey, don't sleep on Horford.
Horford, I think, is quietly gonna be the X factor in this series because I think he's capable of giving you 13 to 14 points on any 15 points on any given night. And there's gonna be a night or two in this series he's gonna have to give you 15 to win a game. And I think he can the way he's been playing. And I'm gonna tell you who else has to play like he sometimes says, he complains I'm not an all-star, this and that. This is Jaylen Brown's chance to show that he's one of those guys. He's in the conversation with Tatum and those guys. Well, now's his chance. Let's produce and let's be that other superstar on the side of Tatum to take this series home.
Yeah, and so
what's your prediction?
Well, I gotta get to that in a second, but to me, this is Jason Tatum's legacy game series. This series right now,
the first round of the playoffs.
Absolutely, his legacy is on the line. So either you come to bat against the best player in the world. You're going against the best player in the world. He'll probably be guarding him. Okay, those two guys are going to get at it all day, all series. You go into a shell like Tatum has done against superstars in the past. Okay. This series goes away. Your legacy is in the toilet at the moment. Okay. That's why I say it's a legacy game for this guy. Okay. He's got to take over. He's got to take over the game. And by the way, they're saying that if it does go 6-7 games, Robert Williams may be available.
Well, yeah, because the way the NBA sets up the playoffs with all the days off in between, Game 7's May 1st.
So, but the Nets are so dysfunctional, and I know we got to go, but the Nets are so dysfunctional. They're two individuals. There's no team element to them. There's no game plan. Nash, he doesn't have control of that situation. So if those two guys can't go off, then the Celtics will win the series. I honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it's going to be Brooklyn in 7. Okay, Joe, put that down. He said Brooklyn in 7. I'm saying the Celtics. And I hope I'm wrong. I'm saying the Celtics in 6. You call, yeah. He let me know. Rip me apart in Heated Hotline this week. Rip me apart, and I hope I'm dead wrong, but I don't think I'm gonna be. So, Mark, it's gonna be a tight one, isn't it? I did not want this team in the first round. Hey, you predicted Buffalo to beat the Patriots, and it happened. It happened. Weekly Rewind. You gotta be wrong this time. Yeah, I hope so. Weekly Rewind was presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Guys, it's that time again. We're getting ready to go. Both of you, please have a wonderful, happy, safe holiday. And I hope the Easter Bunny brings you your anxiety pills, Mark, and every other thing that you need and want this holiday season. And for all of you out there, please enjoy the holiday and be safe. And thank you for joining us in the nation. All of our shows are up for you to watch and listen to this week, next week, anytime you want. And make sure you give us a call on Heated Hotline, 855-313-PATS. I almost forgot the number, Mark. 855-313-7287.
Bro, you're all excited over the Easter Bunny.
I am excited.
And Fenway Franks.
One of those Cadbury eggs, you know. And make sure you come back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk that Celtics net series. Going to have more draft coverage, talking about the Patriots' needs and anything you want to talk about. We'll have the answers to, because we are the real deal. New England feel. See you next Saturday.